Hi and welcome to this presentation. So today, this presentation we present the paper title that is Anaesthetist Rostering Web Application for Hospital Canselor Tuanku Muhriz. So this paper is organized by three person. There is me, Muhammad Reza bin Abdullah, as a presenter, and then the second is Prof. Dr. Masri Ayub, and then the third one is Nurul Kamelia Murad. So we begin with the introduction. So Hospital Chancellor Tuanku Muhriz, as known as SCTM, is one of the hospital that provide medical, surgical treatment and nursing care for the patient. An anaesthetist is a specialist doctor that is responsible for providing anesthesia to patient which are mainly used in the surgical department. So basically, anaesthetist rostering in CTM use a manual system that is using the Google Form, Microsoft Excel and Microsoft Word to collect the request and organize the roster. This method appears to be ineffective, difficult to maintain and inefficient. Therefore, this work proposes the design and development of web application for an anaesthetist rostering at SCTM. Purpose of this system is to help the roster maker to arrange the roster for the anaesthetist. So the web application must be able to manage the roster planning regarding the workstation demand, that is the workplace for the anaesthetist, uh, and the request for every anaesthetist. So before we propose the anaesthetist rostering web application, we begin with the literature review. So based on the review paper, we find that anesthetists play an important role in promoting early post-operative recovery. Personal scheduling or rostering is the method of creating work schedule for employees so that a company can meet the demand for its product or service. That is a cite by paper 2004. So majority of healthcare workers do still do the manual system to keep track of their schedule. It's especially it's difficult because different personal requirement exist on different days and shift, resulting in variety of constraints. So in order to propose the ancestor rostering web application, we begin with the methodology, which is they have three streams for the methodology. Start with the existing system, proposed system, and use case diagram. So we start with the existing system. As we know from the existing system that is from the SCTM, is still use manual techniques to generate and the roster, and then the roster is prepared for every month and week, and then whole of the process is done by the roster maker that is head of the anesthesiology department. So the next is the proper system. So the system that we want we propose is for the prepare the roster for necessity into the shift based on the workstation demand and requirement, and then the roster maker can manage the workstation demand, and then the system that is the web application can generate the roster for the anaesthetist. So the third one is the use case diagram. Use case diagram is to illustrate the interaction between the system uh, and the human lah. So anaesthetist as the admin, so they have a function like can produce the roster for monthly and weekly, and then enter and update the information about the anaesthetist, about the workstation, and then can manage the demand for the workstation, and then also can manage the request from the anaesthetist. So from the methodology, the result that we find we present in the interface. So we show some of the interface of the web application for the anaesthetic rostering. The first we start with the interface. Main interface is the interface for the roster. So as we can see, the roster will shown in the monthly, which is for every day, with the list of the workstation. Then this interface is for the workstation demand, because every day in every week, for every month, we have a different quantity of demand, amount of demand. So the roster maker, that is the head of anesthesiology, can manage the number of workstation demand that required the anesthetist to be roster on that workstation. So as a conclusion, this system is still in development phase, and then soon will be integrate with the artificial intelligence engines that is to automatically construct the anesthetic roster. We plan to combine with the meta-heuristic approach, and then tested on the real life anesthetic roster at FCTM. We also define that based on review paper, research has carried out show that computerized system yields more advantage than the manual system of rostering. That is can see from the paper of 2015. So for the further work, we are still required to make the system more have more functionality. So that's all for this presentation. So we would like to wish to thanks to University Kebangsaan Malaysia and the Ministry of Higher Education Malaysia for supporting and funding for this work. That's all. Thank you.